Alright, today on the workbench I have this is a brass model. It's a 484 in a Western Maryland scheme, and this one I've been looking forward to. So this is one of the guys at the club. I'm not sure who makes this model. I have the original box here. It says 1985 on it. Pro Custom Hobbies Incorporated in Catonsville, Maryland. So let's dive into this thing, and I'll show you what I'm putting in it. Let me take this off here. Take that off of there. And I did have to do some repairs to this locomotive, and I made a video of that too. But I'll probably show you the repair video first, because we want to make sure it runs good on DC before we ever try to put a decoder on it. Because if it runs bad in DC, you're not going to fix it with a decoder. So we're going to put all this stuff into tender. We'll get that apart here in a minute. Shouldn't have to do too much in the locomotive itself. I'll have to unhook the light, because it runs to the motor, so it's variable. It's a variable light with the motor, just like a lot of DC, or most DC locomotives. Let me get this out of the way. So what I have got for this, I've got a Soundtraxx Tsunami 2 TSU 2200. This is a steam decoder, hardwired. So we've got that. I've got a current keeper for it. Part number 810140. That'll take us up past any bad track. Let's see. I'm just going to put one 28mm speaker in this. I've had pretty good luck with the 28mm. I put one of these in another brass locomotive, and you can look through my videos there. Maybe I'll link it in the description. But they do sound really good. So I've got this 28mm speaker. That's part number 810153. I've got a baffle kit, or a speaker gasket kit. Part number 810119. And then I've got this speaker baffle kit, 810110. So, like I say, I've used this before. Used the big baffle, make it as deep as I can. But with this tender, I think I'm going to have room to spare for everything. Unless I get in there and there is something just completely out of whack. But that's what we'll be using in this decoder, or in this locomotive. So let's take this thing apart and see what we've got. And I'll have to clean these wheels up really well, so you can get good contact out of it. Just looking here, trying to think. I'll probably just have it all picking up off of the tender, since I'll have the current keeper in it. I want to keep as many wires out of the locomotive as I can. So I'll just have the motor wires and the front headlight wires. I don't know, and it would be a neat feature to put in this locomotive. Maybe a light in the firebox and have it flicker. I don't have any red bulbs, though. Well, I won't worry about that. But it may be later on down the road. But anyway, what we'll end up doing, this has insulated wheel sets on it, metal wheel sets. Of course, it'll pick up off of the trucks. And I've got this side right here is the insulated side. So that is the engineer's side of the tender. So we'll remember that. I don't think I'll have to take my trucks off. Let's pull, we've got 4 screws here. It looks like it holds this together. Let's pull those out. Of course, they're non-magnetic. Make sure I'm not hurting the coal load. Shouldn't have to remove the coupler and the coupler box. Shouldn't have to. Okay, well, it's already got provisions there for speaker, so that's good. I won't have to drill this out. You can see where they've soldered that together. A couple of spreaders in there. That's where I was hoping I could set my speaker right here, but I guess we'll just end up putting everything right in. Won't mount anything to the tender bottom, maybe. Of course, I could still, yeah, we'll go with it here. And let me get my decoder out of the package. It's like opening a kid's toy. So here's our decoder. Looking to see, that's in there solid. I can't remove the coal load. That's all right. I don't need to. I can mount my decoder right on top of the right here on the bottom, I guess, of the box. I'll put it right there too. That way, if the tape comes loose or anything, I'll have to get me a clean. I'll clean that with some alcohol. And I've got a place right in there. I can put my wires through. So that's that. Set that over there. Open our speaker up. positive, negative. This is an 8 ohm, 1 watt speaker. And I want to have it sitting right over top of that. Get that out of the way. And our current keeper. And I don't know if you can see it in there or not. Well, you can't really. I'm going to have to peel this back a little bit. Right in here. The current keeper just plugs in. Right there, there'll be a... Let's go ahead and we'll do that now. May have to change my blade out. I do need to change that blade. Before I cut myself. Okay, you can see that right there now. It's the thing about X-Acto blades. Usually the back half is sharp, and the front is always dull. Okay, now you can see up in there that little square. That's where that plugs. Trash. Okay. Let me just leave that wired or knotted up like that. My current keeper out. Couple of pieces of heat shrink that I'll save right there. And we've got some instructions. Throw those off to the side. Get our baffle out. Throw that off to the side. Like I say, I could put both of them on there. Full chamber, double speaker. Well, that's for a double speaker. I'm not going to do a double speaker. I'm going to use a single. Well, you can use it. That. Not going to need the mounting ring. Cut some flash off. That'll be there. I should have used the other side. Okay, so we'll have that. We'll have that. So that'll be our speaker and enclosure. Of course, I don't have it all sealed up. So I'll put the back on, and it's got holes in it. You see them right there to run our wires through. Make sure that's in all the way. And I'll put that together with some plastic strut. That way that'll get that sealed up really well. And then when I put the speaker in, I'll use gasket maker for that to seal it up. So that's that. And I'll drop that speaker in right in there, but I'll center it. So let me get a little bit of a couple of Q-tips, get some alcohol, and I'll clean this area off. This is 91% isopropyl alcohol. Nothing fancy. Just want to make sure that I get a clean area for the double-sided tape to stick. Clean the inside of that. I'm going to stick that. Just let that air dry. Let's see, our two purple wires are our speaker wires. The green and white tracer and brown and white tracer are different functions. And then we've got our, let me go through these. Orange, is our positive on the motor. It's stuck to the red. Our gray is the negative on the motor. And I don't memorize this, I just look off of it's written on the back of the instructions. I guess you could memorize it if you wanted to. Let's see. Black is left rail electrical pickup. The red is the right side pickup. White is the front headlight. Yellow is the backup headlight, and this doesn't have a backup light on it, so we won't be using that. Green, that's function 3. Our brown is function 4, and the blue is the common for the lights, and I'll end up having to put a resistor, I believe, in line on this. So we'll start out with a fairly big one and then see how bright it is and work our way back, because I'm not sure what bulb is in that. I think this is good for a 12. It says on the instructions it's good for a 12 volt bulb, but I'm not sure what bulb is used in this. So I would say that is a 12 volt bulb because it's a 12 volt system. Well, depending on what size transformer you have. Maybe I'll try it. Anyway, and then the current keeper, I'll probably just put that current keeper right there up against the side. So let me take and clean off that area. It's a good spot to adhere the double-sided tape to. A little dirty. Could be worse. So, down out of the way. Move my alcohol out of the way. Grab some double-sided tape. And we'll go through the struggle of pulling the tape off, double-sided tape. And I use a Gorilla tape, double-sided, pretty good stuff. Had good luck with it. They're not a sponsor. I don't have any sponsors. Really don't want any sponsors. So I'm going to run all that through there. And I've got one more speaker wire there. And I can always pull it back if, nope. Yep. I think I should have cut that out a little more. There, stabbed myself in the finger. Doing something dumb. So now I'm going to plug my current keeper in. Maybe I ought to, let me turn that around. Yeah, I'm going to turn it around that way. That way I'll have access to the current keeper if I need it. Make sure we get our pins in the right way. Just a simple plug. And I said I was going to leave that tied, but I'm not, because I want to be able to get this as far under as I can. So there's our decoder end. Get that out of the way. Now I can go ahead and get my other piece of tape. Stick that in on that. I'm just sticking a Q-tip down in there to make sure that sticks. So there's our current keeper. And as long as I stay above or below, I guess, this and this bar back here, I know I'll have plenty of clearance to set this down on top of the tender. So now let me dig out the only wires that's going to have to go through this hole up here are this orange one, the white one for the front headlight, them up there. I'll need the blue. That's the positive wire. And I'll need the gray. When I say the blue is the positive wire, it's the common for the lights. And we'll try and run both of these through together. That hole's getting mighty small. Well, and that's not going to work. So let me try. There's my gray. Get this untangled from the gray wire. And there's our blue. So there's all of our wires. And then all of these we will not need. I take and pull on those just a little bit, just to stretch the covering over top of the exposed wire. Because the green one I do not need. The brown and the yellow I do not need. Already did the brown. Do that to the yellow. And the black and red are the pickups. So we'll take these three and we'll knot them back together. That way they'll be tucked away. Actually, I think what I'll do, just for a little added protection there on those three wires, I'll put a little liquid black tape on those. Just touch the end of it. That way we won't have to worry about them shorting out in, in that brass frame. And I'll do the same with these two function wires. Shouldn't have tightened my I probably should have prepped that ahead of time, but onward and upward. So now I'll tuck those. Get my Q-tip back out. There's that. Those tucked up in there. That'll fit nicely in there. And those are our speaker wires. So let's go ahead and feed them. Turn on the soldering gun. Ream the hole out just a little bit. And that'll set in there. Let's take and solder this baby up. This it's really flexible, so it's a fairly good wire. And I can strip it with just my fingernails. The soldering pads don't have any flux on them. Now before I do something crazy here, we'll get out one of the gaskets, slide it in place. Just sits in there like that. Well, actually, I didn't peel the backing off of it. If I can get the backing off of it. And that is sticky. Break out my Q-tip again. So there's that in place. Now I can go ahead and solder up the wires, and there I touched the soldering gun. Let's get a little bit of solder there. Go ahead and solder our speaker wires on. Trim that up a little bit. I got it a little close to the magnet there. Don't like that. So now, peel off the other side. That thing is extremely thin. You can't even really see it on there. Got one little piece there picked up. I don't know if you can see that edge or not, but it is there. Okay. I won't have to use the silicone on that, but I am going to take and plug those two holes in the back before I stick that down. Before I plug them, I'm going to put some double-sided tape on them. Get that out of the way. Move that. I think I'll put 2 pieces on. Just because. Cell phone's ringing, vibrating. One of those robocalls. Okay. Now I'm going to try and line that up. Well, there's really no lining it up because I can only really go right. We'll put a piece of tape in there. There's a little lip in there. So I want to get up over that lip, and I'll do it with a bigger piece of tape. I better try and get a start on that. Push it down in there, the Q-tip, pull that out. Get it centered. Best I can. And there is our speaker, decoder, and current keeper. Keep alive, whatever you want to call it. So now, all we really need to do is hook up our pickups. Losing coal. So let's see. This is our... I'll mark them as I say them, because if I don't... So this is the rear. Front. Fireman. Engineer. Now I did that so I wouldn't get confused, because I've got my black red wire. Let's see, the red wire is the right rail pickup. So the right side is the engineer's side. Now let's look at the bottom and see how these trucks are insulated. So the engineer's, or the fireman's side, or no, engineer's side is insulated. So we're going to take our black wire. These things are great because you can just solder them right to the body. Our black wire, I can solder right down, and I'll solder it closer to the center. That way I know I won't be hitting anything. Because that'll pick up right off of the trucks and right through the frame. Let me think ahead a little bit. I can do that if my locomotive wheels are isolated. Well, I won't have to worry about it because that one side will pick up through the drawbar too. So the rear rear wheels here on this are insulated on the fireman's side, and the front is insulated also on the fireman's side. Can I say fireman's side? Yep. Well, I might have to change those. I shouldn't have to. Okay, let's do this. We're going to take our black wire and we're going to solder it right to the frame. Tin up the wires. Or wire. Then giant heat sink. A little more. I may end up running a screw down through there because that's going to have to get really hot. let it sit there for a minute. No, I think she's starting to. Mighty hot. Little stuff and throw it away. Now one the bigger and better. Yeah. We've got 2 screws here in the end. This must be a pretty common configuration. Seems like every brass locomotive I've taken apart is the same. Well, at least these 2 screws are on the steamer. There's that one. And now, if I remember correctly, let me pull this off this front pilot. And this is a 2-piece screw. And I'll show it to you here in a minute, if it came out in both pieces. It didn't. There's one. Now when I say this is a 2-piece screw, here's the second part. This screw goes right into the boiler weight. Excuse me. This screw goes right into the boiler weight. And that's what holds the front of that on. So you've got that little piece, then you've got that, and it all screws together on that, and then this spring. So now that should pull right apart. And when I had this apart the last time, and I need to glue that back on, there was a screw missing. The weight's right here. And I need to put a drop of glue in here on that. Get that back together. We aren't upgrading anything. I'm going to leave the same light. Actually, I'm going to unplug this. Move it over here. That plate didn't line up like I thought it was going to, or like it should have. So I need to fix that. plate again. So there's that. Twist it around. Okay. You know, a pair of pliers, this one gear are a little bent. Okay, we've got our shell off, and we're going to get ready. We're going to put a couple of wires on this. I need to tin this terminal up, and then let's see. I don't think I'll have to use that wire. This wire that's attached to the case, I'm going to use it. That'll be a pickup. But I'm going to put some black wire from these and this back out, and we'll run that to the tender. So I wouldn't have had to stick my wires out of the tender like I did. Put some flux on that. I'll put some flux on that. Get the gun already, or soldering iron already heated up. There's that. Now, I've got some Digitrax wire here. It's a fairly thin wire. It'll be heavy enough. I'm going to cut this in probably, I'll give myself 6 inches of wire there. That'll be plenty of wire. So there's that. Strip that off. I can strip it off with my fingers. Tin this up. no good at soldering or my left hand here, but let's try it and see what we get. And I'd already had a piece of heat shrink on that. Okay. There's one. You can just see I stripped this off just with my fingers. Just a little bit, not much there. Some flux on it. Tin that up. Sometimes stuff is hard to hold on to. We'll get our third one out here. A little bit of flux. Clean that tip off. There's our motor connections. Now I'd put the tender back together prematurely. I shouldn't have done that. The other thing I want to do is for the lights, or the light, I'm going to take and use some black wire for it also. And try and dig that out. I'm going to cut these little plugs off and I'll just wire it up solid. So, but right now we're to the point where let's test this out here just a little bit. Let me move some of this stuff. My motor wires. That's the positive, and the positive is the orange. So let me get my flux back out, and I'm just doing this temporary. And then strip a little bit off of the negative side. Flux that up. Let's see, the negative side is the gray. And this is just a test right now, so I'll have all these a little bit shorter. And then this, actually I need to take my tender back apart because that should be the other pickup. Should be the red. So let me pull this apart. Sometimes it's easy to forget things. Like unthreading the screw all the way. Feed it back through. Fish it around some wires. And strip that off. A little bit of flux. Okay, get some of this stuff away from each other. Set the tender back down on the frame. We'll get the shell out of the way. Pull the test track up here. Okay, I am going to hook this together. Okay, now I want to separate my wires here so that nothing is touching. There's one set. There's another set. That set's all right. My white and blue are fine. We'll let that start up. Move my flux out of the way. Okay. Now, you can hear we have some sound. Wonder if we have any motion. For some reason, I got a short. Why did I have a short? We started out well. And the way I can tell that I'm getting a short, or that I had a short, the NCE with the power cab, let me pull this around here so you can see it. Up there in the corner, you can set this to where it'll read amperage. So when I hit the, you can see the amperage go up. That's from the horn. There's the bell. Okay. But why did I get a short when I moved? Let me try again here. Unless it's just from holding it. I think it is just from holding it. Let me unplug that. Let me set this up on some stands. That way, let's see. Pull that off. At least this way it can move freely, and I could have been stalling it out just by holding it. So So it runs really, really smooth. Seems to test all right. Now I just need to hook up the light, put it all back together. It's got a really good sound to it. Okay. So now I just have to put my wires up and oh, let me do this. Let me start it off. Since we have the keep alive in it, I'm going to unplug the power here and we'll see. I've got it on at speed step 2. Now let's see how many seconds we can get out of it with the keep alive. There's 5. About 7 seconds, 6 or 7 seconds we got out of it running. So, okay. Now just touching that right there gave me a few more seconds. So, okay, I'm pretty happy with that. Now we can get that unplugged. Gotta make sure I got my system here unhooked. Okay. So now we can start the final assembly on everything. Well, after I hook the lights up. But let me get rid of that. Move that clamp. Move that around. Ah! I knew I shouldn't have done that. At least it's brass. No harm, no foul. Alright. So now, we just need to do some wire management. So, we are off to that. How do I want to do this here? I need to pull that off. Maybe I can. Okay. Get that out of there. Put the weight back in the body or in the shell. Remove. Well, just to mark those, let me do this. I'll leave these kind of hooked up just a little bit. That way I'll know what goes where when I feed all this through. Because I don't really want to see the orange and red and all of that. So right now what I'm doing is taking all these wires in the tender, pulling them back through. Okay, so there's all of those. I need to cut me another piece of black wire. And this black wire is it's a rat's nest, is what it is. Yep, I'll cut this off. So I'm not going to fool with wire all day. So there's my black wire. Just lost a spring there. Don't want to do that. So get out my spring clamps. Not yet, not yet. Let's go ahead and we'll fish this through. So now I am going to fish these through one more time under here. The great thing about these steamers, they have a lot of room to spare. Okay. Now take and start putting some wires together here. Strip that. Might as well strip all of these. I think I just need to do the white. Yep. Okay. So now we'll start on them one at a time. Helps to have a good supply of shrink wrap tubing. I should only need 5 pieces. Before I do anything. Seems like I always end up getting so far away. There's one. Okay. Get our orange piece of shrink tubing. A bit of flux. Little crook in it. There's that one. Yeah. I'll just cut that. Well, I thought I'd stripped all those. I didn't. Piece of heat shrink. If I keep hold of it. And I just made a bonehead move. I should have pulled those wires around. We'll have to unhook all of that. I didn't run it underneath that bar. I can't have that. Well, here we go. Again. That first time was practice. How about that? We'll do these one at a time. We were so close. So close. But we did it once. We can do it again. Heat shrink. See, everybody makes mistakes. Everybody makes mistakes. It'd be great if we didn't. I wouldn't have to do this again. Orange. back through. Heat shrink. I think that bottle of flux would last forever. Now I'll have to get some more heat shrink out. Those were the two pieces I was going to use for my light. Let's see, orange, I gotta get my red. A lot of this stuff is just repetition. Lots of repetition. I did it again. With the red one anyway. Let me take that off. I didn't pull it back through. Maybe that means it's time to quit. Maybe it's time to quit. Heat shrink. Okay. So that's that. I'm going to break out a Q-tip and put my wires down in there. Where they won't be bouncing on the speaker or anything else. So now, let's just take and put these back through while I'm looking at them. There's the white, and I lost it. And there's the blue. And those are for, like I said, the headlight. So now, all that, I'm going to flip this over here for a minute, move that, move that, trying to rearrange here a little bit. Afraid I'm going to start losing a few things. I don't have very much left, but let's see. I've got my black wire cut. I need to bring the boiler assembly down. So here it is. grab my wires and I am going to cut these plugs off. Add my own wire that I already have cut. And I shouldn't have to put a resistor in line with this. I'm just going to use the old incandescent bulb. So yeah, for some reason I don't think I got any. Yep. Clean it, clean it, clean it. There's always got to be something. Let me start that again. Sometimes it's better just to start over. There, goodness. That should not have been that hard. Cut that wire in half. Should not have been that hard. Put some heat shrink on it. Strip that off. A little bit of flux. Tin that up. That's how it's supposed to go together. Give me a little piece of paper towel here. Wipe that up. Okay. And there are my leads for that. Now, got to do a little repair work here. Put a little bit of CA. Well, those darn tips. They clog up. I used that one time yesterday. And now it's clogged up already. Does anybody have a good way to clean out tips for CA glue? We'll try that. See if blowing it out there will help any. Okay, now the next thing I have to do is put the weight back in. I thought I had fixed that, but the nut came out. So now I'm going to have to try and fish and I know it's just in there spinning. Let me, I'm going to turn this off right now. I'll be back here in a minute. Alright, I've got the weight back in. Those things are a pain. But anyway. Alright, now, onward and upward. Getting ready to do some more final assembly. Let's see now. Two more pieces of heat shrink. I'm going to go ahead and put them on the wire right now, so I won't have to worry about forgetting it. Okay, there's that. Turn this around here. And I want to feed all of this through that hole. So, what happened to my, there it is, I mean right in the face. Okay, so let's go ahead and strip these. Get some flux there. So there's that one. I'll go ahead. Let's see. I don't have either one of these tinned. And like I say, I've already got the heat shrink tubing on them. There's one. This should be the last connection that I need to make. Set this down. I don't like that. It didn't like it either. Okay, one more time. There we go. Okay. We're ready for some final assembly. And once again, I did it once again. I did it twice. Come out of there. Boy, that is frustrating right there. All right. There's that. There's that. More heat shrink. Two more pieces. Okay. There's our final connection. Get some of this stuff out of the way. Turn that soldering gun off. Now, we'll start the reassembly process. All my wires in there. Start back here on the tender. So there's the tender back together. Now, what I'm hoping is that I'll have room. I may have to cut a little notch. Nope. Set this off to the side for a second. Now, I've just got a few screws to put in, and they're not magnetic. Get that started. move on up here to our front pilot. I put that together wrong. The washer goes on top of the spring. So let me actually, let me do it like this. Okay, we're all back together. Now, we'll put it back up on the test track. Except this time I won't disconnect the tender. I'll have this out front. Couple more of those. Okay. Oh, they're almost upset the whole thing. Grabbed the wrong piece. Okay, I'm going to turn you off here and move the camera. Okay, I've got everything back together and it's sitting on the test track. So let's plug in our DCC and see what happens. Of course, immediately we get some noise. So let's get the controller out here. We'll turn on the front headlight. There it came up. You can hear the dynamo running. There's our bell. Long whistle. Short whistle. So let's start off here. Speed step 1. Okay, I believe we're done with this one, so thanks for watching. Alright, this is, I'm going to call this a little train tip. This is how I like to clean the wheels so we get good contact. So let me hook the DCC up. I'm going to turn the sound off there, we don't need that. But what I like to do, I just take isopropyl alcohol. This is 91%. Wet a Q-tip down. And then I'll get this thing running at a fairly good clip. And then just take the Q-tip and run it on the surface of the wheels. Be amazed at how black that is. We'll speed that up a little bit. And then another method, and I'll show you that too, to get some of the real heavy stuff off of the wheels. I'll take my Dremel with a stainless steel wire wheel brush on it and clean it off. Clean the wheels off. And I think I'm going to end up doing that to this one, because that doesn't, it It doesn't look like it's getting everything off of it. So, but that's just a little tip on how I clean wheels. Let me slow that down. See what we've got. That doesn't look too awful bad. That black I'm seeing is paint. Okay. Well, that doesn't bother me. Okay. So that's just a little tip on that. Thanks for watching.